Alright guys, this is Will from Monkey Steals Peach here, and for today's video I want to talk about my own style, which is Taiji Mantis, and explain why it's called that and what it's all about. Kind of clear up this misconception that it's Mantis Kung Fu mixed with Taiji Chuan, which it's not. But before I get into that, just want to say that if you haven't already watched it, I've recently released a documentary called Shaolin Heritage, which is in collaboration with Shaolin Shiniba and Shaolin Temple Lithuania. And this explores what Shaolin Kung Fu really is and kind of presents the research that I've done over the last year following with the trip that I was in Dongfeng and then the research I've done following it. Now, as far as the early history of Mantis, it's kind of blurry and not too much is really known about what the style was like. But it seems that around the mid to late 19th century, Mantis became divided into three main branches, which is Meihua or Plum Blossom Mantis, Qixing or Seven Star Mantis, and Liuhe or Six Harmony Mantis. And every other style, sub-branch, lineage is derived from one of these three branches. And Taiji Mantis is a derivative of the Meihua or Plum Blossom line. So the name Plum Blossom was coined by the students of Liang Xuexiang, as I said, around between mid to late 19th century. Liang Xuexiang had quite a lot of students, and one of the most famous of these was a guy by the name of Jiang Hualong. So Jiang Hualong is considered to be one of the most influential people in the history and development of Mantis Kung Fu, and quite a lot of what we do today is a result of him, regardless of whether you come directly from his lineage or not. Now, Jiang Hualong himself also taught many people. In fact, he was one of the first Mantis masters to teach widely, and so there are many people that claim descendancy from him. But he had a particularly special relationship with a guy by the name of Song Zide. And this relationship was unique because it wasn't strictly teacher-student, it was kind of like sworn brothers. So Jiang Hualong taught Song Zide the entire system of his Plum Blossom Mantis, but at the same time they regarded each other as equals and friends. And quite often, if somebody was a student of one of these people, they would learn to some extent from both of them. Now, Song Zide, he was a very wealthy landowner and businessman, and he was also very educated. And so he was really taken by the philosophy of Taiji and thought that this was so important to martial arts that he decided to name his style after it. Song Zide had 8 main disciples known as the Bada Dizi. And of those, the top 3 were called the Laiyang Sanshan, which means the 3 mountains of Laiyang, because all of them had the Chinese character Shan, which means mountain, in their name. So those 3 were Cui Shoushan, Wang Yushan, and Li Kunshan. Now, Li Kunshan, he was technically a student of Jiang Hualong, but as I said, Jiang Hualong and Song Zide both kind of taught each other's students, and so they were all part of the same group, if you will. Li Kunshan, he actually went to Taiwan with the Kuomintang government in 1949 when China became communist. Now, Wang Yushan, his lineage is very strong, and there are a lot of practitioners in the city of Qingdao in Shandong province. And Cui Shoushan, there are not so many. There's a couple of people in Yantai and a couple of people up in the far northeast of China. Cui Shoushan is the lineage that I come from. And so when we're referring to Taiji Mantis, we're usually referring to descendants of Song Zide and the 3 mountains of Laiyang. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, there's a lot of Taiji Mantis in the West, something called Chu Chuk Kai or Zhao Zhu Shi Mantis. That's actually completely unrelated. It's another branch of Meihua Mantis which is quite distantly related to us. And that was, as I said, Zhao Zhu Shi or Chu Chuk Kai in Cantonese. He was a Meihua Mantis practitioner who moved to Hong Kong and then Southeast Asia in the early 20th century. So what he does, what that group does, is very different to what I do. And the other one you may have heard is Taiji Mantis. That's a name usually given to modern practitioners of the Hao family. Again, it's quite similar to what we do, but there are some differences. And so, I suppose on the whole, when you hear the name Taiji Mantis, really it's, whether it's Taiji Mantis, Taiji Meihua Mantis, Meihua Taiji Mantis, or just Meihua Mantis, essentially these are all part of the same large family. It's just the specific lineage or teacher that denotes which of those names is used. So there's not a huge amount of difference between any of these styles. Okay, so that's the history of Taiji Mantis, but what about the name? What does it actually mean? Well, Taiji refers to the theory of Yin and Yang in Chinese philosophy. So Yin is anything passive, soft, falling, dark, feminine, or receding. Yang is anything bright, active, strong, hard, rising, male, or advancing. And so the philosophy is not actually about duality. It's not saying that these are two opposites. It's actually saying that they're complementary. So when one becomes too much to its extreme, it changes into the other, and vice versa. And so there's always an interplay in everything that happens in nature. There's always an interplay, a constant change between yin and yang. And that's exactly the same in how we move our body and how we relate to the opponent. So as far as moving the body, well, pretty much whenever you extend one side of your body forward, the other side of the body will move backwards. And that will create whole body power, right? So if I throw my left fist forward, then my right shoulder moves backwards and my body twists. So I've got yang on one side and yin on the other side. At the same time, if I throw a hook punch like this and I come across, and then when I come back, it returns to the opposite. So we've got the yin and yang, right? Yin and yang. And this is the same with rising and falling. So if I'm coming up, I've got rising, yang, and then falling, yin, yang, yin, like this. So anything rising will then be preceded by something falling. Anything coming across will then come back. Anything that's long will be preceded with something short. Anything that's short will be preceded with something long. So we're always moving between these opposites and changing from one to another. Now this relates, as I said, to how the body moves. We're creating these like twists, coils and spirals within the body via the interplay of yin and yang within the body. And we're also relating to the opponent. So if the opponent comes at you very hard, you might want to be soft. If the opponent's particularly soft, then you can just overcome them with brute force. If the opponent comes in very close, you should try to keep your range. Likewise, if the opponent's a long-range fighter, you want to move in very close. If the opponent comes at you directly, you should evade. If the opponent's evasive, then you go direct. So we're always relating to our opponent by using the opposite movement to them. So that pretty much sums up Taiji Mantis. I hope that gave you an overview into our style. And I think I should just say here that it's not that the philosophy of Taiji is something unique to my particular branch. It's just that the founder or creator thought that this was so influential and so important to him that he named the style after it. But you'll find these ideas throughout all martial arts. It's just a principle of nature, and it's just a way of explaining that nature. So I hope you enjoyed the video. You can join YouTube or patreon.com/monkeystealspeach if you want to get access to some extra footage and support the running of this channel. Yeah, thank you very much, as always.